Okay, we are continuing on with the audio tutorials for Adobe Premiere Pro Creative Cloud version. These are updated, again, from the old CS6 videos. And we'll jump right back into the project we had open. We had already cut in the opening B-roll shot and the nat sound, the first few seconds of nat sound. This would be opening up a new package, so we always want to build those audio elements first as we construct. So we've got the first shot, it's audio, did a quick adjustment on that. We'll do more in a minute. And then we put in the reporter, starting right there.
Another opening, another show, but not just any show, and it would take a lot more than an 8x10.
So what I want to do now is show you how to do use an audio keyframing, the concept of keyframing to make an audio adjustment. And in the last tutorial, we also showed our waveforms and we made the tracks a little bit bigger. I'm going to make them even bigger, so I'm going to mouse over this audio 1 and audio 2 in my timeline and then just drag A1 down to just expand it even more. Notice other tool sets open up. I even have these clip keyframes and track keyframes. I want to stay on clip keyframes because I only want to adjust little pieces of audio right along this clip in the timeline. I'm also going to hit the plus key so I can expand. It's zooming in, right? So that I get a larger view not only of the vertical stretch of the tracks, but also zoom in as well. So let's do this. We want to listen to it. We want it to peak at full, averaging -18. And then the nat sound, we're going to bring it down with keyframes just before the reporter's voice. So right about there, our reporter is going to start right here. So I want to make keyframes sort of leading up to this point. Simplest way to do that is to just mouse over to that location. I'm going to go right to where the reporter starts. You move to the spot where you want to make the first keyframe. So we marked it about right here. We didn't mark in or out, we're just actually placing the playhead. And what you have to do is click on the track. If it's not like active like this, see how it all turns sort of white or light gray? I'll click off and it's all in blue. When I click on it, it means, okay, I've grabbed that. That's the only thing the timeline is going to look at right now. Once that's available, I can mouse over here to my keyframe. It's this little diamond right inside my audio track. I wouldn't see that if my tracks were drawn too tiny. So you have to open up your tracks a bit and I'll see it right there. All I have to do is click it. That's my first keyframe. Then I'll play down a few more. And right before she starts to say yes, we're going to mark the second keyframe here. Let's zoom in even tighter to see what we've done. First keyframe is our anchor. The second keyframe is our adjustment. So simply it's dragging this one down. So we're lowering the volume on that track about 20 decibels right after the first keyframe. So with the second one's dragging it here. And then that volume is going to be dropped all the way through the rest of the clip. So it drops in volume just before she comes at full volume. So let's listen to it now. We'll pull all the way back. Nat sound up.
Yes, it's another opening, another show, but not just any.
All right, so did you hear it again?
Yes, it's another.
The nat sound is still present, but we've definitely dropped it several decibels so that we can hear her voice. And then most of our nat sound, whenever we have nat sound, at the same time we have a person's voice, a reporter or a soundbite, we want to bring the nat sound level down. It should be present, but it should not overwhelm the human voice that we're supposed to be hearing. Remember, the audience has to hear all of this. So nat sound, you only want it up at full volume when it's out there by itself, like in the opening shot.
Yes, it's another opening, another show, and it would take a lot more.
We want her centered. We want her to be center stage so that her voice would play back in both the left and the right speakers or the left and the right headphone. And that can be done as simply by just grabbing an audio effect and dropping it on the track. What I'll do is look over to my effects menu. It's over there near your media browser, effects. I want audio effects. And what I'm looking for here is the fill left effect. And here's a good way to think of this. Fill left is the same as saying take the audio from the left channel, and put it in the right channel. So fill from the left, not filling to the left, but fill from. So fill from the left to the right side. I click it, I drag it over, drop it right there, and now watch what happens.
Another show, but not just any show, and it would take a lot more than an 8x10.
And now we have our reporter's voice mixed perfectly in the volume, but it's also in the left and the right, left and right channel, so it will play back perfectly.
Yes, it's another opening, another show, but not just any.
I want to show you another way you can also adjust audio. I think I showed you in the last video how to take a source clip. It could be a source soundbite or the voiceover track, and how to quickly go into the gain. I think we hit the Shift-G key and it brought up the gain tool. I can also do that when I'm in the timeline. I could say I want to adjust the gain on this first shot, the audio and the nat sound. I could right click, or I could just hit Shift-G there and it brings up my gain tool. I can normalize, or I can just go up to adjust gain. Let's say I just need to knock it down 2 decibels. I could go click in there, adjust gain by -2. And now it's going to adjust the peaks of this shot 2 decibels down.
Yes, it's another opening.
And there you have it. I could always do it that way. It's a very easy way to get into the gain tool. I can right click, move up to audio gain, or I could just Shift-G on that custom keyboard layout that you've got. And that's another way to do some audio keyframing. This is very useful when you have opening sound that you want to bring down a little bit, or if I have sound, let's say in between 2 shots, I've got a pause where we've had a sound bite, and I don't want the reporter's voice to come in right away. I want there to be some nat sound to pop in for about a second. I could easily go in and punch it up with the keyframes and then bring it back down and go right back to the reporter's voice. This is also very important that we put our tracks, we designate a lane of traffic for each type of audio. So for the audio source that's coming in the nat sound, I'm putting that all in my audio 1. I'll be consistent throughout the timeline. All of my reporter's audio is going to go in track number 2, and in the 3rd track I could put the sound bites. I could even stagger them that way so that everything is sort of by itself. Nat sound, reporter, sound bites. Sometimes I'll put sound bites and voiceover in the same track just because they're both human voices. One's the reporter, one is the person we interviewed. But definitely do not put your nat sound in the same track as your voices. At least keep those very separate.